Welcome back. So glad that you could join me today. So I'm going to start off with some news of what's happening in the mortgage world. It's good news, actually. The U.S. mortgage rates are down for the second week in a row. So right now, for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, it's right around 7%. And remember, that's normal. That's historically normal over the last 30 years. So it's still high in comparison to what it was last year. Last year, the mortgage rate average was about 6.39. And so, it's fluctuating a little bit. We understand that. We understand that on a day-to-day basis, mortgage rates can creep up, they can creep down. I have heard from some of my mortgage friends that more and more people are actually spending a little extra money to buy down their rate. And it could be as little as $500 to buy down that rate just a little bit, and it can make all the difference in the world in your payments and the longevity. The matter of fact is, most mortgages today, if you are getting a new mortgage, there is no prepayment penalty and you can refinance. So if you refinance when the rates come down lower, maybe later this year or in the next year or two, you may be able to get a 5 or 6% rate. Usually if the rate goes down at least 1 full percent, you're going to make money or save money, or your payments are going to be considerably lower. So, you have to think about grand scheme of things when you're buying a home. It's not an investment that's going to turn overnight. But the good news is, especially in the Cincinnati market, rates and mortgages and purchasing a property is a long-term proposition. If you think you're going to make big bucks and turn it around in a year or two, I'm afraid that's not likely to happen. I've had several sellers, not my own actually, but I had one situation where I had a buyer looking at a property, and the purchaser of that property 2 years ago is now trying to sell that home for $40,000 more. And so I asked the agent, okay, help me understand, if this home was purchased 2 years ago in 2022 for $350,000, why you now have it listed for $390,000. And the answer was, well, everything's gone up in price. I said, well, did she update the kitchen? Are the bathrooms new? Did she invest some money into the property? Which happens, and then I can understand that kind of an increase over the last 2 years. But she said, no, it's just, we are seeing increases in prices year over year, 5%. And I said, well, that's a little more than 5% year over year. And so, you have to understand, if I'm representing you as a buyer, I'm going to be looking at the numbers. I'm going to be looking at and representing my buyers and helping them understand why a home is priced the way it is. And if I didn't price it, another agent priced it, then I'm going to ask. You have to ask questions. And I have no fear, as you know, to ask questions to find out, okay, so why is this home priced the way it is? Are there other significant comparables in the marketplace? And for this particular home, there really wasn't. So they were just banking on the fact that there is very little inventory and people are going to overpay for a home. And that is not really going to happen. So buyers are pretty smart right now. There may be this crazy influx and is still a pent-up demand for properties in the Cincinnati market. We have very low inventory. The inventory has gone up a bit over the last year, but there's still, homes are getting snapped up, literally snapped up, about as quickly as they go on the market. Unless, and this is the big deal, unless the home is overpriced. If a home is overpriced, it is going to sit. If a home is on the market for more than 2 weeks, it's probably the price, because it shouldn't be a lack of people actually going to the home and looking at it. And if that's the case, then we have to look at price, condition, and location. Those are the big three. The big three when we're selling homes: price. It has to be priced right. It cannot be overpriced just because you want or you need a certain amount of money in order to take the money that you have in that home and move to the next property. A buyer doesn't care about that at all. I hear that a lot. A lot of my sellers are like, well, I need this much money so that I can buy my next home. No, think about that statement just for a minute. That statement doesn't really make sense, because it's not what you need, it's what the home is currently worth. Now, I can talk around it a little bit as your agent, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm going to be honest with you. And if I think you want to sell your home for more than it's worth and more than what buyers are willing to pay for it, I'm going to tell you. That's really important information. So I don't want you to be disappointed, because maybe you need, at the end of the day, once you balance out all of the fees and pay off the mortgage that you have and the taxes and all that good stuff, if you need $100,000 out of your property to take with you, but realistically there's only $80,000 that can be had because of, just the way it is, the price of homes, how much an appraisal is worth on your property. We're going to look at all of those numbers, and I will break them down extremely simply, and that's really the key. You have to break things down in a way that you understand. Yes, I want to get you the most. I'm not just selling, and this is another thing that I know a lot of real estate agents we hear is like, oh, you're just going to price it too low so that you're going to sell it fast, so that you can say you sold my home really fast. No. I'm not going to do that. I want the highest price possible for your home, because if I sell your home for the highest price, potentially your neighbors will want to use me to sell their home, and that's how the real estate industry works for me as a real estate agent and a broker. It really, the way I do business is extremely important. And I want to keep my integrity absolutely the best that it possibly can be. So if I'm selling your home for the highest price, which I will do, and I will show you that if it doesn't sell for the price, then, maybe it doesn't sell for the price that you want, but it sells for the price that I thought it was going to sell for. I would hope that you understand that after being in this business for 20 years, we've seen so many changes. And in those changes, in the real estate market, we have seen highs and lows. And I'm going to use all of that experience to help you get the absolute best price possible. I would never underprice your home. Now, some agents might, because they want to get a bidding war going like really fast, and that happens. But overpricing a home is like death. It can be death for the sale of your home. The longer your home's on the market, the less money you're going to get. And a lot of times you get one chance to put your home on the market and make it right the first time. And those are the keys to working with an experienced agent when it comes time to sell your home. I hope that you'll think about me. My name is Michelle Sloan. I'm your local residential realtor and broker at RE/MAX Time. Been in the business for 20 years. Whenever possible. So I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the importance of real estate, the housing sector on the economy. It's huge. It is so big, and I really am blessed to be in this market and to be in real estate for the last 20 years. I absolutely love it, and I love you for listening. So stay tuned. My name's Michelle Sloan, and you're listening to the Sloan Sells Homes Open House right here on 55 KRC, the talk station.